Okay, so he was charged with 10 counts of aggravated sexual abuse. And so, as you know how we do on this show, we're going to go through the statutes for the state of Illinois. Remember when we were talking about Jasmine Island, we were dealing with Atlanta, Georgia. So now, because I believe that most of these happened in Chicago, we're going to look at the Chicago statutes. I wonder, because some of the abuses happened in other states, but you know what? When we get more information, from what it is that we know, Cook County locked him up. So Cook County is in Illinois, and so we're going to deal only with the statutes in Illinois. If we get more information that there were other states involved, I will come back and I will read you the statutes from those states. But let's break down the victims and then the statutes, okay? So the first victim, initials HW, was involved in incidents which occurred between May 26, 1998 and May 25, 1999. A grand jury returned an indictment on 4 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse based on the victim being under the age of 17 and Kelly being more than 5 years older. And that's the way it continues to go down the line. RL between 1998 and 2001, and the victim being under the age of 17 and R. Kelly being more than 5 years older. Third victim, LC, occurred February 18, 2003. A grand jury, Kelly upon, okay, listen to this. A grand jury returned an indictment on 1 count of aggravated criminal sexual abuse based on transmission of semen by Kelly upon any part of the body of the victim for the purpose of sexual gratification during the course of an underlying felony of an attempted criminal sexual assault. Fourth victim, JP, was involved in incidents which occurred 2009 and 2010. Grand jury returned, sexual abuse based on the victim being under the age of 17 and Kelly being more than 5 years older than the victim. All right, so there we have that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into the actual statutes. So let's take a look at what the statutes are for Illinois. Oh, goodness. Now, remember that some of these may be updated, so make sure that whenever you're looking at statutes, because laws are passed and on the books and in waiting at any number given time. So just make sure that you're up to date with the statutes. I will provide an image over here for you to read along with me. But here we go. Aggravated criminal sexual abuse. This is according to the Illinois General Assembly. All right. So A person commits aggravated criminal sexual abuse if that person commits criminal sexual abuse and any of the following aggravated circumstances exists. During the commission of the offense, or 2, for the purpose of paragraph 7 as a part of the same course of conduct as the commission of the offense. Don't zone out on me. We're going to go into the next one. That was a little complicated to read, but that's okay. So listen, 1, the person displays, threatens to use, or uses a dangerous weapon or any other object fashioned or used in a manner that leads to the victim under the circumstances reasonably to believe that the object is a dangerous weapon. 2, the person causes bodily harm to the victim. 3, the victim is 60 years of age or older. 4, the victim is a person with a physical disability. 5, the person acts in a manner that threatens or endangers the life of the victim or any other person. 6, the person commits the criminal sexual abuse during the course of committing or attempting to commit any other felony. Or, this is the 7 that they mentioned in the top part. The person delivers by injection, inhalation, ingestion, transfer of possession, or any other means, any controlled substance to the victim for other than medical purposes without the victim's consent or by threat or deception. That would apply so much in the Jasmine Island situation. Let's go forward. So, B, a person commits aggravated criminal sexual abuse if the person commits an act of sexual conduct with a victim who is under 18 years of age and the person is a family member, so no, that doesn't apply. C, a person commits aggravated criminal sexual abuse if 1, the person is 17 years of age or over, I commits an act of sexual conduct with a victim who is under 13 years of age, or 2, commits an act of sexual conduct with a person who is at least 13 years of age but under 17 years of age. So that's where it applies in the R. Kelly case. And the person uses force or threat of force. Nope, doesn't apply once we get to that part, to commit the act. Or 2, the person is under 17 years of age and Lord, this is the longest statute I've ever seen. Okay, let's go forward. We're going to keep doing it. All right. Commits an act of conduct with a victim who is under 9. Oh, God. Or 2, commits an act with a sexual conduct with a victim who is at least 9 years of age, but under 17 years of age, and the person uses force or threat of force to commit the act. So, God, how many more are these? A person commits aggravated sexual abuse. A person commits sexual penetration or sexual act with a victim who is at least 13 years of age, but under 17 years of age, and the person is at least 5 years older. That's the one that, gosh, so that's D. So that's 7D, is it? I don't know. I got lost with all of these I's and everything. But that is the one right there. And then there's E, which is sexual abuse if the person commits an act of sexual conduct with the victim has a severe, profound intellectual disability. No. Person commits if the person is a victim at least 13 years of age, under 78 and age, and holds position of trust, authority, or supervision. Oh, gosh. It says G. Aggravated criminal sexual abuse is a class 2 felony. I wonder if class 4 felony is higher or lower than class 2 felony, because remember, Smollett got a class 4 felony, so I wonder about that. So let's talk about everything that we know so far. And if there's new information that you have that I haven't yet spoken about, please forgive me. Like I said, the news cycle is going so quickly that it's hard to keep up with it. It's hard to do anything besides make videos to how quickly this is going. So we know that it's a VHS tape. Avenatti, who was Stormy Daniels, or is Stormy Daniels' lawyer, came forward talking about the tapes a few days ago, but this is the first time that something has materialized in an indictment, right? So, Cook County. These are the same people who got Smollett, huh? So what is it that we know? So R. Kelly had been sitting, because some of you had mentioned R. Kelly was still on the loose. There's a girl, Tamala, who's, then there's Kanika. There's a whole bunch of people in Chicago with unsolved murders and mysteries, etc. But what is Cook County doing about it? How are they progressing the conversation? How are they progressing in indictments there? However, this is what it seems like. So they talked about in the CNN clip about how the surviving R. Kelly was impetus for this investigation going forward. So what do we know? In order to really get something done in Chicago or in Illinois, you have to have media coverage or a documentary, or you got to be on TV, or you got to be famous, or a lot of people got to be speaking about it. And then you get expedited justice. And I made a mistake in my quote of time yesterday, because there was a girl who told me about a young lady who was walking into a building in Chicago with her infant child, and a person assaulted her, sexually raped her. And it took 4 years for them to find the guy, even though the guy had been in and out of the jail for years on other charges for years. So we have a police department who seems to be, when it comes to ordinary everyday crimes, grossly, I don't want to say negligent, because that may be inappropriate, but I don't know, just I don't want to misspeak, but I will say that they don't seem to have the same fire under their feet when it comes to some of these other crimes. And one of the things that the commissioner the superintendent kept saying yesterday in the press conference is that they treat all hate crimes with the same amount of vigor. Okay, a hate crime is a crime against a protected group. All right, but rape is a crime of hate. Gun violence is a crime of hate. The girl who got put inside that freezer, that's very hateful. It's like, okay, so seems like they have selective outrage. So here we go. One of the important things for us to remember is, because they're like, oh, this is what they were talking about on CNN. Oh, they were black, so they weren't believed. I have 2 points on that. You all remember the juror I showed you the clip when we did the Surviving R. Kelly part. And if you don't know which clip it is, just look through my Surviving R. Kelly videos. I did a review of all of the videos, and I have his thumbnail. He was a Russian guy. He was like, oh, they were black. He didn't believe them. There was also, I think, a rapper, was it J. Cole? I don't remember, but he came out and he was like, oh, he didn't believe the girls because they were black. So there were people who were saying that they didn't believe the girls who came out because they were black. But from what it is that I remember from people coming out, the young lady who was the victim in that initial tape in 2001, who was alleged to be 13 years old, she never spoke. She never came forward, and her family denied, her father, or was it her uncle and her mother, denied that it was her. Sparkle was the only person saying that that was the girl. So the girl didn't come forward. The family said it wasn't her. So R. Kelly could have been off of the streets a long time ago, and him passing through those charges actually is what emboldened him even more, because people were like, oh, well, he went to trial. He was found not guilty, but he wasn't found not guilty. He was found, well, he wasn't found innocent. He was found to not be able to be proved within a reasonable doubt that the girl inside the tape was under a certain age. But if you saw that tape, if you saw, the girl had like a little, you know how like younger kids have like a little pottish kind of belly, and she had like the little nubs, like the little bulbous nubs. It was disgusting. When I saw that first tape, I cried. I sat down there and I cried. And yeah, it was disgusting. There was nothing. The girl had not gone through puberty yet. She had a child's body, and it was disgusting. I was disgusted by it. So the 2001, the last point that I wanted to make about not being believed because they were black. Remember, Jocelyn Savage came out and said, no, that's not happening. Nope. And you saw somebody going, cut, on a shadow behind her. But by her own admission, she came out into the public and said, no, that wasn't happening. They caught up with her in Hollywood when she was with that other the other woman's daughter who was dressed up like a boy. And she was like, no, as you see, I'm free to roam about. And, she looked really nervous. And the other girl, I believe her name was Dominique, she looked very uncomfortable by the scene too. But nonetheless, that 2001 tape was grainy. But they're saying that he's identifiable in this one. Will this be what can take R. Kelly down? We're in a whole different time now. This is why I'm so happy that the Jasmine Island case has come forward, because it really confronts us with having to have the conversation about what rape is. And people think that rape is violent, like rape is rah, rah, rah. And that's most rapes happen by somebody that you know. As you heard when I read down the statutes, and in each state it's different. Apparently in Illinois, you got to break it down by 13, by under 17, under 13, and under 9. And then you have to break it down by whether the person used a weapon, whether a person used a drug, or whether a person used their power and influence. God, it's like we're living in such a sick existence where there has to be 17 different statutes for 17 different breakdowns underneath one statute. Imagine what there is for RAPE or some of the other ones. God, this is the time that we're living in. I'm happy that we're opening up our eyes to have these conversations. R. Kelly married Aaliyah when she was 15. I feel like the adults of our generation have freaking let us down. I mean, there was nothing I could do about it. I was a child at the time too. But all of the adults who were around, who allowed this to happen, and who allowed the Me Too stuff to go underrepresented, underreported, and without justice, underjusticed. And it's like, so we have these elders like Steve Harvey, who is a bona fide sellout by his own definition, with his own very own words. And we have all of these different people. And so it's like, listen, I don't know exactly off the top of my head how old Kavanaugh is. I don't know how old you are, but we're the elders now. We're the elders. We are. And we're going to have to take control of the direction that we continue to go in. We're going to have to, it's like people come and they get on me, right? Because of the videos that I make and what it is that I'm talking about. And I'm like, honey, I record these videos on my phone. You got a phone? If you over here writing to me on the internet on your phone, go turn your camera on. Go start recording what it is that you want to record on. This is what I'm passionate about recording. I'm passionate about people finding. I didn't even give my intro. I'm TonyaTko, and I'm a self-love specialist. And I am passionate about people loving themselves and finding the power to love themselves and each other. So I'm all about empowering you to love yourself and love yourself in the reflection of the relationships that you have. And our elders, how old is Kelly now? He's one of our elders. How old is he now? And look at how he is running roughshod on a rampage through the Black young American female community, or the community of young girls of color in the United States. Because one of the girls, I believe she was a lighter complected, a mixed race Latina. And I'm like, so this is the elder. Steve Harvey is the elder. Donald Trump is the elder. Roger Stone and all of these people in the parties are our elders. Where are elders leading us? What's this guy name? Bill Cosby, elder. What's this Harvey Weinstein, elder? These are our elders and our examples of elders. This country is set up the way that this country is set up because our elders have gotten us here. And it's time for us to take over from where it is that they left off and say, you know what? We're good. We're good. We're going to take it from here. We're going to take it from here. Thank you. Thank you for what it is that you've done. We'll take it from here. We'll take it from here. Because I remember about 5 years ago, and we're going over to another topic other than R. Kelly right now, but it's still kind of related. I remember about 5, maybe 10 years ago. It wasn't quite 10, but about 5 years ago. I was looking around and I was thinking, I was like, where all the systems set up in place for us by these elders? Where all the systems? We had Oprah. Oprah been out since when I was in middle school. Where is the production company for young people of color to come and get their stuff produced? Where's Black Flicks for us? So that somebody like Monique doesn't have to kowtow and tiptoe and lick boot in order to be able to get signed. Where the banks providing us with? Where's the banks providing us with low interest loans, credit unions, ways for us to pool our money? What are these churches doing? By now, we should have been able. Listen, people ask me, why do I live in an RV? Yes, I live in an RV. Yes, people ask me why. When I left New York, I had a business, right? I had a business, and I had, over the course of, how long was I inside this space? 3 years, I believe it was. Because I was paying $2,500 a month. Over the course of do the damn math. I'm recording right now, so I can't pull my calculator out. 2,500 times 12 is how much? And then, so listen, if we just took the 500 off, let's do the math. If we just took the 500 off and just left it at 2,000, right? That's $24,000 a year right there in rent. After 3 years, I paid this man more than $75,000. Plus, you have to add on the 500 times 12 for each year. So if we, I'm not going to take up your time to do the math right here, but we're talking about more than $80,000. And when I handed him back the key, I listen, when I decided that I was going to close my business, I was in tears. I didn't know who I was going to be without that business. And you all ask, what is it I put on my face? I use some of the remnants of TKO skin on my face to keep my skin looking beautiful. But I didn't know who I was going to be without that business. And when I handed over the key, there was a part of me that died. I paid this man more than $80,000, Jewish guy, nice guy too. but really about his money. He helped me out a time or two, gave me a Christmas present once because his son-in-law owned a company. The son-in-law owned this company. So there was the money flowing upward to this guy, $80,000 in excess. And you guys can give me the exact number down there so that I can weep from the inside. And when I handed over the key and I walked out of that building, when I walked out for the last time, I remember when I saw the building in my rear view, I had nothing. I had nothing in exchange for the 80 grand that I had given over. I own my home now, and my home travels with me wherever I go. But my whole point is, these churches, like my landlord, the reason why I bring him up is because him and his partners, his family, they own blocks. They owned blocks of buildings. What do we have? All of these churches pulling in the money for these tithes and buying these $1 million jets and all of this stuff. These are the elders. We could have pooled so much money. We could have owned blocks upon blocks of buildings so that when we talked, people would listen. But no, what do we have? We have the elders. Succubuses to the community, sucking the life force out the youth and out the congregations and out the patrons, sucking the life force. Michael Jordan, an elder. All the kids that were beat up and squandered and left destitute over his shoes. Look at what we have. We got Umar, who said he was going to build a school. He'd been talking about building a school from the time that I was living in New York, paying this guy $2,500 a month in lease space. So it's like we the elders now. Because if left unchecked, look at where they take us. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off. I went off. I snapped. I forgot what we were talking about for a moment. Because I'm disgusted. Disgusted. It's like we don't know better when we're younger. How many of us young girls thought it was a compliment that an older guy was interested in us? And it wasn't until you became 35 that you look back and see how inappropriate it is to date someone when they're 15, 16, 17, even 18 years old. It's not until you change places with the adult, but where was the adult guidance in that person when they were troving and roving around the high school looking for a date, looking for a mate? Where was the adultness in them? Where was the direction in them? Where was the safekeeper of the youth in them then? So this is what I say, man. Listen, we're the elders now, and it's up to us. And listen, I'd rather do it than talk about it. So I'm not going to talk about what it is that I'm going to do. But I'm working on some things right now. And one of the things that Steve Harvey said, he said, but the way that he said it, one of the best things you could do for poor people is not be one of them. That's not the whole story right there. Because yes, it does take money. It does. But at some point, it takes giving back. Who wants to be at the top alone? Who wants to be up there in the upper echelons and see nobody who looks like you and look down and see the people who look like you are getting shot, getting poisoned by poisoned water, left broke, ignorant and alone because they don't understand? Listen, I just have been able to find a Black female mentor who is a millionaire just in all of this time in my life. It's like we have no direction in where it is that we need to go. And when we look for direction, what is it that we see? We see people like R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, Michael Jordan. I could go on and on. Where are all those athletes who came before us to stand beside Kaepernick and speak up? Somebody said that Steve Harvey has $70 million. Is it 70 million? Can that be right? Is it 7 million or 70 million? And at $70 million, he still feel he have his shine boot, lick boot, buck down on knee, head bowed, talking about F integrity. He'd be a monkey for 4 mil, really? If $70 million is not enough, what will it take? And listen, you all know that this is why it's difficult for me to keep up on the breaking news. You all know that I'm in the final stages of getting my first book published. And I contacted a few Black bookstores about getting my book on their shelf, right? And one of the bookstores, the very first one that I contacted, he was like, "Oh, he'll promote my book and sell my book for free. I don't have to pay him anything." I said, I don't even feel comfortable with that. And it's like the people who have the best of hearts and the best of intentions, they just let the money fall through their fingers like water. Fall through their fingers like water. Because they don't know how. They don't know how to hold on to it. And so many of us feel that we don't deserve to even have it. Jasmine Island and the Stewart trial attorneys are suing the Opera nightclub for being 1/4 of the way staffed. And people are these bottom holes are talking about she's scamming the club. They don't even think that the girl deserves, after being assaulted in their club from lack of security, reckless indifference on the part of the club. Like there's so many people who come to me and they're like, "Oh, Tonya, why do you monetize your videos?" Oh, Ross, what are you talking about? Do you go to CNN and say, "Oh, why do you have commercials on you're talking about sensitive topics. Why do you have commercials on there?" No, but you want to come to the Black woman and ask me why I monetize. You goddamn right I monetize my videos because I get my Black ass up here and I spend and invest my time I will never be able to get back into making these videos. You doggone right I monetize them. And it's that money that I get from monetizing the videos that is paying for the books that I'm getting produced to be able to make more money to flip into something else so that I could be able to help more people. You're doggone right. Google makes money off my videos. You're damn right I'm going to make some too. Ugh. Let me get off of this video. I snapped and went into a whole different direction. Listen. Subscribe to my videos. Click on the ads. Well, why not? Subscribe to my videos. Watch the ads when they come up. Write a comment, like the video. All of these things matters for the YouTube algorithm. If you see something that you're interested in one of the ads, pay attention to it. I know you want to get to the info, but take a few moments out and watch. Come to my website, buy a book, buy an MP3. You can get a free MP3 when you join my mailing list. It's right there. I'll put the code down below. Just look for that. Let's figure out ways that we can support one another because, like I said, we are the elders now. It took me all of this time to realize we're it. We are it, and it's up to us. And we're going to have to create this world in the ways that we want this world to be. We've been sitting around for too long, letting old people who will not be able to live in the repercussions of their choices, actions, and legislatures make decisions for us. Look at where the world is with climate change. You ask why I live in an RV off the grid. You doggone right, I do. You doggone right. Listen. The revolution will not be televised. But you better start getting yourself in position, getting yourself geared up now, and finding ways to diversify yourself. I'm out of here. There's so much more that I'd like to say, but TonyaTko. And I'm out. Leave your comment below. I know we talked about a lot more than just R. Kelly, but I want to hear your thoughts below. Please, I'm going to have to break this video up into 2 parts. So make sure you catch part 1, and this will be part 2. All right, TonyaTko. Peace.